I grew up in western Kansas where we had the Dust Bowl in the 1935s, and the importance of water became very apparent to me. I've finished up my PhD just as Nephi Christensen was ready to hire somebody that would be able to take over the program of developing water resources here at CSU. And since so much of my experience was in wind tunnel work, that we ought to start out there and study evaporation, which was a water resources problem. And he had had Hunter Rouse here to lecture. Hunter helped me find the money and contract with the National Science Foundation to have the money to build the wind tunnel. Jack Cermak was my first master's student, and he was just graduating as I arrived, and he went on the faculty here at that time, and so he was a natural to work on the wind tunnel. He was obviously a brilliant person who could do an enormous amount and take on a major responsibility, which he did, and gradually I turned that over to him, the wind tunnel, and worked more directly on water resources programs. While I was at Iowa, I had gotten well acquainted with, I had an assistantship really on with the U.S. Geological Survey, and I'd gotten well acquainted with Paul Benedict. When I moved out here, I got him to be an advisor to us, and then we got several other USGS people to be advisors, and then gradually we got people from the Bureau of Reclamation and the Corps of Engineers also to be advisors. And they all just were delighted that we were developing this water resources graduate program. And so I got a lot of support from them in those early days. And we had students graduating in civil engineering, and every once in a while I'd spot one that was particularly bright, and I'd ask him if he'd like to have an assistantship to go on and do a master's degree. And that's how we got half a dozen of those young, very promising students that later were very prominent in the development of our program. It was a very slow effort, but because of the lack of funding, but fortunately it didn't take much money for an assistantship of a graduate student, and so we were able to get some bits and pieces of research done that some of these government agency people wanted done, and then when they had more money, why, they kept flowing it into us. And the USGS and the Bureau of Reclamation and the Corps of Engineers poured money into us that made it possible for us to build very rapidly. Then in 1958, Bill Morgan said, Maury, 80% of money for contract and grant work here at the university is the money that you folks have generated. And I'd like to have you come over and be director of the Research Foundation, get research going throughout all the university, not just in civil engineering. And so I launched into that and left the work in civil engineering to Darrell Simons, and by that time Everett Richardson had come into the picture, and we had managed to get the Atmospheric Sciences Department created by convincing Herb Reel that he should come out. So It was a gradual buildup then of research throughout engineering in particular and throughout the university in general.